What if I told you that one of the most powerful democracies on earth once overthrew another democracy, just to protect oil? That behind the slogans of freedom and liberty lay a secret war for black gold, power, and dominance? This is not fiction. This is the true story of how America and Britain toppled Iran's democracy in 1953, and changed the Middle East forever. Stay with us and watch to the end. Iran, 1941. A nation caught between empires, Britain, the Soviet Union, and an emerging superpower, the United States. When Reza Shah Pahlavi was forced to abdicate by the Allies during World War II, his young son, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, took the throne. But beneath the crown and the palace glimmered resentment. The Iranian people were tired of foreign control, especially over their most valuable resource, oil. The Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, known today as BP, controlled Iran's oil fields. British profits soared while Iranians lived in poverty. The numbers were staggering. Britain took home over £200 million in profits in 1950, while Iran received less than a tenth of that. Amid this injustice rose a man, calm, educated, and fiercely nationalistic, Dr. Mohammad Mossadegh, a Western-educated aristocrat turned politician who believed in democracy, transparency, and independence. In April 1951, something extraordinary happened. The Iranian parliament, led by Mossadegh, voted unanimously to nationalize Iran's oil industry. The Anglo-Iranian Oil Company was expelled. For the first time in modern history, a Middle Eastern nation took back control of its natural wealth from the West. The world took notice. In Washington and London, alarm bells rang. To the British, this was rebellion. To the Americans, this was a dangerous precedent. Britain immediately imposed an oil embargo and began planning a secret operation to remove Mossadegh. But Mossadegh was not a dictator. He was a democratically elected prime minister, beloved by the Iranian people, respected by intellectuals, and even named Time magazine's Man of the Year in 1951. However, Britain's hands were tied. After World War II, it was a declining empire. So they turned to their younger ally across the Atlantic, the United States. It was the height of the Cold War. In Washington, paranoia ruled. The fear of communism spreading through oil-rich nations was enough to ignite action anywhere on the map. Enter Kermit Roosevelt Jr., the grandson of President Theodore Roosevelt, and a senior CIA officer. He was tasked by the CIA's Allen Dulles and his brother John Foster Dulles, U.S. Secretary of State, to oversee a covert mission codenamed Operation Ajax. Approved by President Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1953, Operation Ajax was a joint CIA-MI6 plan to overthrow Mossadegh using propaganda, money, and chaos. With a budget of $1 million, Kermit Roosevelt entered Tehran in July 1953 under fake identities. He met with royalist officers, corrupt clerics, and street gangs, all ready to sell the soul of a nation for a price. CIA agents paid off Iranian newspaper editors to publish fake headlines accusing Mossadegh of being a communist, an atheist, and a dictator. Fake protests were staged. Religious leaders were bribed to denounce him during Friday sermons. British agents whispered lies into the ears of Iranian army officers, claiming Mossadegh planned to abolish the monarchy. The goal was simple: turn the Shah against Mossadegh, and the people against both. On August 15, 1953, the Shah signed two royal decrees, one dismissing Mossadegh, the other appointing General Fazlollah Zahedi as prime minister. But Mossadegh, aware of the plot, ordered the arrest of the coup officers. The Shah panicked and fled Iran. For 3 tense days, Tehran stood on the edge of a new dawn. The coup seemed to have failed. But Kermit Roosevelt wasn't done. He reactivated street mobs, spread more lies, and handed out CIA cash to anyone willing to fight. On August 19, 1953, chaos erupted. Pro-monarchy crowds stormed Mossadegh's house. Tanks rolled through the capital. Soldiers loyal to Zahedi took over the radio station. By nightfall, Mossadegh was overthrown. The Shah returned triumphantly days later, backed by American dollars and British oil interests. Democracy in Iran was dead. With Mossadegh gone, the Shah became an absolute monarch, ruling with an iron fist, backed by US weapons and intelligence. The CIA trained his secret police, SAVAK, notorious for torture and repression. In return, Western oil companies regained control. The New Deal split Iran's oil among a Western consortium, 40% to US companies, 40% to British, and the rest to others. The Iranian people received almost nothing. But history has a long memory. The resentment from that coup, the betrayal of democracy, festered for decades. By 1979, it exploded into the Iranian Revolution, when angry crowds overthrew the Shah and shouted one phrase that echoed across the world: "Death to America." That hatred was not born overnight, it was born in 1953. For decades, Washington denied involvement. But in 2013, on the 60th anniversary of the coup, the CIA finally admitted it had orchestrated Mossadegh's overthrow. Declassified documents revealed every secret payment, every lie, every signature, confirming what Iranians had known all along. One of the memos read, "The military coup was carried out under CIA direction as an act of US foreign policy." The Iran coup of 1953 was more than a political event, it was the day America overthrew democracy in the name of oil and fear. It reshaped the Middle East, fueled anti-American sentiment, and set a dark precedent for covert regime change across the world, from Guatemala to Congo, Chile to Iraq. Today, when we talk about distrust between Iran and the West, it all traces back to one moment, one operation, one betrayal. History doesn't whisper, it warns. And if we ignore the past, it will repeat itself again and again. What other nations had their democracy stolen in the shadows of freedom? Who decides which government should rise or fall? And what secrets still lie buried beneath the oil fields of history? Share your thoughts on the comments section and join us in the next chapter of Coup Chronicles, When Power Changed Hands. Because the truth, no matter how buried, always rises. I know you wouldn't want to miss that, so stay connected to this channel, follow, like and share for more stories untold. Disclaimer: all content on ReshAged channel is created for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. We strive for historical accuracy and credible sourcing. Some topics, especially those involving history, politics, slavery, coup, religion, or speculation. ReshAged does not promote hate, violence, discrimination, or misinformation of any kind. Viewers are encouraged to research independently and form their own conclusions.